And if the chessboard can provide the variables of 10 followed by 120 zeros, I want you to take a moment and think about life itself. You think of your life, you think of the people in your life, you think about the technologies that come by each and every day, you think of the changes in businesses, you think of the changes that occur in friends, you think that you move from one country to the next. The variables are in the billions and the billions. And that's the thing that you have to think about when you start to think about business. Is that business is changing each and every day. And that means that you have to change each and every day. Because the variables are so immense. And the pace of change in modern life has increased. So let's just start with that. Because we're going to talk about how Nu Skin fits into a world that is changing at such a rapid pace. Those of you who watch the business news, you know that Apple has been in the news 3 times just recently. One, Apple has announced that they are going to join with Goldman Sachs to create an online banking environment. So Apple, one of the biggest technologies in the world, is going to join with Goldman Sachs to create a different look in terms of banking, how things are paid, and that there is a chance that this could be revolutionary in the world of finance. And Apple sees that there is a change. Apple was criticized just recently because their iPhone sales didn't go up. And the president of Apple said, fine. And the reason, of course, is that they're selling so many iWatches. And so that they've changed people from iPhones into iWatches, and that the iWatch can grab a hold of you. It is a very important part of how I receive technology now. But also, Apple is in the news because their competitor, Samsung, has just come out with a new version of a mobile device that has 6 cameras. And they have a tremendous screen. And everyone says they're going to be very competitive with Apple and Apple iPhone. And so then you start to look at things and you see Apple, who's on the very cutting edge of things, they know that they have to change. They don't make their money selling they don't make their money selling desktop computers anymore. Steve Jobs came in and said, oh, everything is mobile, we're going to change. And so they changed, and now they're changing again. And they're moving into not just wearables, they're not just moving into banking. Is that today, in a report coming out of a German newspaper, it says that Apple has created a automated car, and that they are starting to be seen on the streets. And so Apple is saying, we're going to change. Times are changing, markets are changing, technology is changing, and so as a consequence, we're going to change. Because they have to. They have to. And if Apple has to change, everyone has to change. How products come to the end-line consumer is changing every day. How many of you went through New York, or you're going through New York when you go home? How many of you have been to New York? Okay. So, New York is a big city. People come from Europe because they buy lots of things in New York because the prices are a little lower than what they are in Europe. And so that the commercial side of New York is big. But on Fifth Avenue, all those stores, those big stores on Fifth Avenue, they're all shutting their stores because they can't make a profit, retail profit on Fifth Avenue any longer. And you look at that and say, that's interesting. Why? There's lots of people still passing by, and of course is the online competitions that they're engaged in. If you go to the west side of New York, there is an area called Hudson Yard. It's the biggest urban renewal project in the world. They are building a platform on top of a railroad yard, 28 acres, and they're going to build 10 skyscrapers, a park with 50 million square feet of space. And so on Fifth Avenue, stores are closing. But in Hudson Yard, stores are open. And in Hudson Yard, they are going to invite online retailers to come and open up space in Hudson Yard. And so they're filling up space with people who have not sold retail in a brick and mortar environment. They're going to have those people sell things in a brick and mortar environment in Hudson Yard. Fifth Avenue is losing stores, but at the very same time, Hudson Yard is gaining stores. And that's the nature of the world that we live in. There is ups and downs that are taking place. Some people are being successful, some people aren't, and the question is, who is engaged in the modern world? I said this last time, for those of you who were here last time, and I want you to understand this. Nu Skin sells approximately $3 billion in product every year. And so that's great. There are distributors who have been in Nu Skin for 30 years, and they have made millions of dollars. But the world is changing for the Nu Skin distributor. And those people are at risk. All those people who have made a lot of money are at risk. And that it's not this group. Well, it is this group. Giselle is at risk. Anton is at risk. Lars is at risk because they have made a lot of money over a long period of time and they think they know the business. But because of the variables, that business is changing every day. And they have to learn the business every day along with you. And I'm going to tell you a secret. Are you ready for a secret?
Yes.
I'm the upline of all those distributors. It is wonderful. There's a million of them. And I like it a lot. And it's a great thing. And so it's a good thing. I'm over all those distributors. But many of them, I know, are not making the transition from old to new. And you know what's going to happen to their income? It's going to go from here to here. And you know where that money is going to go? It's going to go to you. That's where it's going to go. Even if Nu Skin does not add $1 to the overall revenue that they create, those distributors who come in that have new energy, who are willing to work the business in a new way, they're going to take a portion of that income that has been historically allocated to other distributors. It's no different than stores closing on Fifth Avenue and stores opening in Hudson Yard. The new is going to gather up the revenue, and that's the way it's going to be unless the old figure out what they have to do to become new again. And that's the point that we are in right now in this game. In a very real way, you don't care if Nu Skin grows at all, because there are $3 billion that are going to be rearranged and that they will come to you if you will learn what's taking place in the larger world outside of your home. Because how business takes place, both direct sales and also retail sales, how business takes place is going to change every day. So let's take a moment. We've got translation taking place here. It's a wonderful thing. How many of you have iPhones? Can I see those of you who have iPhones? How many of you use Siri on your iPhone? So Siri is the voice recognition. Okay. The question is how many have iPhones? And the second question is how many use Siri? Siri is the voice recognition part of your iPhone. In other words, you take your iPhone and you say, Siri, how many feet are in 10 meters? And so Siri will tell you how many feet are in 10 meters. Sometimes you say, Siri, how many feet are in 10 meters? And Siri will say back to you, you use celery and vinegar. I mean, it doesn't catch what you're saying. And it drives you crazy. I mean, right? Those of you who use Siri, you just say, oh my goodness. Siri represents an existential threat to Google. question of Siri, it does the research, right? You don't go to Google up an answer. And Siri doesn't go to Google either. And so as a consequence, Google has said that when Siri came forward, that it represented the first threat to Google's dominance in search. And that's where Google makes all their money. And so no one is safe from the change. And voice recognition is going to change lots of things. And so I have Alexa. Alexa, you know, if you have it, Alexa is the same thing. Alexa, you say, Alexa, play this record. And Alexa will play that record for you. It's put out by Amazon. Alexa, do this. Alexa, wake me up at 6 o'clock. All through voice. And so that you can see the advent of voice coming in. And it's going to change everything. It's going to change how businesses work. It's going to change the winner or loser relationship between Apple and Google. And so Google's working on translation as well. But it isn't just voice through a technical side that is going to change things. It is also translation. Translation. You can right now. There's an app that you can get. It's called iTranslate. And that you can take iTranslate and you can translate every web page into any language that you want. And so I read European newspapers because iTranslate will translate it for me, and I can read every web page worldwide in any language that I want. I can on Amazon. I can take Amazon and I can do Kindle, order a book on Kindle. I can put it on the Kindle app that comes onto my iPhone or my iPad. I can then take that, and any book I have, it will translate. And so I can take all my books on Kindle, and I can translate it into any language that I want. This is the translation of an English language book that has been translated into French. So,
It's a very good quality.
what's that?
It's a very good quality of translation.
It will not just make the text transfer, it will take the text transfer and then it will recite it to you in any language that you want. Now, what I'm pointing out here is that we're only a couple steps away from instantaneous, real-time translation. English has been the language of business, but as this comes in, it no longer will be the language of business. Everyone will do business in their language, and they'll be able to communicate in real time.
So one question. If you were speaking right now and I had that app in my phone and I have my headphones, I could hear you in the language that I
It takes off a text and then translates it into the text of the other language, and then it will read it to you. Okay? It doesn't translate verbally in real time. That's the next step. You understand the meaning of this? It means that communications across boundaries and language barriers, that's going to go away. You have a marketing plan that has no boundaries. It has no barrier. But there are still boundaries and barriers. There are language barriers that keep you from talking to someone from Indonesia because you can't communicate. That barrier is going to go away. And so when we start talking about a worldwide business, it's not going to have an artificial barrier of language that will keep that from actually representing itself in terms of your income. Before, who's my translator? I did translation.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and so he translated for me. And that everywhere I went, when I would travel overseas, I had to have someone right there, and I would say 3 words, just like it's taking place here, and they would say 3 words. And the longest day of my life, I did this in Korea. And those Koreans, they don't know how to take a joke. They're so rude. But I went through my life basically having everything I said translated. I bet you, Lars, you've translated for me as well. And so that all that goes away. And that this is just a continuation of what has already taken place. When I started in the business, I had gigantic phone bills because I had to pay long distance call charges. And they would be $2,000 and $3,000 a month. At a time when I in the business, I was traveling 22 days out of the month. And so my travel expenditures were through the roof. But that's what I had to do to connect to my grandchildren, right? And so, you know, I know Lars, I know Anton, because I went over to Europe and I spent time with them. But now, what do? You do FaceTime Lives, right? And so you do Facebook Live, you Skype, and so that you don't need to go on those meetings. No one travels, and that means the cost of doing the business is coming down. The cost of doing the business is coming down, while access to the market, because of translation, is going up. So the markets are growing for you, while the cost of penetrating those markets are shrinking for you, which means that there's going to be more income with less effort. And it's going to be because of what's taking place in technology. And that when you look at translation, translation is just part of what everyone is talking about right now. It's just part of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the biggest thing in the world of business today. Everyone knows it's going to scramble everything. In some predictions in the United States, they believe that artificial intelligence is going to eliminate 50% of the jobs in the United States. It has started. Artificial intelligence has started. It's creeping into the marketplace. There are going to be fewer and fewer jobs attached to the economy because of artificial intelligence. All artificial intelligence is an algorithm to make predictions. It just makes predictions. That's all it does. It makes predictions. It hears a voice, a sound, and it makes a prediction on what that voice means as far as a word is you know, in terms of translation. So it hears a sound and it predicts what that word means and it translates. And so the better it becomes, the better the algorithm, the more data points that it has, the better the sifting of what translation means. It will get better and better and better. All artificial intelligence is prediction. Now I want to ask you a question. Where would better prediction benefit distributors and make their life better? Can we think of any places where predictions make distributors' lives better? You know the biggest mistake that new distributors make? I'll tell you what it is. They work with the wrong people. I mean, how many people have you sponsored? And you said, oh, this person's going to be great. This person's going to be wonderful. I'm going to throw myself into it. I'm going to work like crazy. And that person is a complete and utter zero. Anton, am I right? Lars, am I right? Giselle? It's the biggest time waster in the world. And the reason is the new distributor has a hard time predicting who is worth their time. And because your time is really what your investment is, you are just throwing your investment right out the window. So in a world where prediction through artificial intelligence starts to emerge, and that you can get from a prediction, you know, someone say, or the artificial intelligence mechanism would say, this person has a 70% chance of becoming an executive. Would you give them your time? You bet. It wouldn't necessarily be that person who's rich, who has lots of contacts, and that you think they would be perfect for the business, but they're not perfect for the business because they already have a lot of money. They don't want to use their contacts. Because that's just the way they are, is that you don't waste your time pursuing them, begging them to come into the business. Please come in. Please You need to come into the business because I want to be rich. You don't need to do that. Is that artificial intelligence would give you a sense of who you spend your time with. If you have an executive or a goal, artificial intelligence could very well read to you and say, this person has a 70–80% chance of becoming a blue diamond. Wouldn't you at that point say, I'm going to spend my time with this person? Increased prediction and accuracy of who you work with changes the business in a dramatic sort of way. It doesn't eliminate human response. It doesn't eliminate human judgment. It enhances human judgment and human response. And that means that you'll get more money with less effort than you are today. And so you start to look at that and say, the advent of artificial intelligence allows me to communicate across language barriers. It allows me to communicate across distant barriers. It allows me to participate in a broader market. Artificial intelligence can make me more effective in terms of who I work with and the time that I spend with those individuals. Depending on the data points that are ingested, it probably could tell you what that person needs to learn at any particular point of their journey, so that you can give them the information they need in order to become successful. So when I sit here and say that there are variables in the world, and that direct sales is going to be enhanced, the possibilities associated with direct sales is going to be enhanced because of those variables, these are examples of how that will work. And that we have already worked, so to speak. We've already seen those kinds of changes. We've seen the engagement of social media and the marvels of modern exchange, modern communication exchange. And that this is just the next step forward. And the company has made that step, distributors have made that step, and that we're seeing more steps that will be taken that will allow us to penetrate more deeply into the marketplace and increase everyone's income. So when I say the opportunity right now is greater than it has been in the past, this is what I'm talking about. Because my income was suppressed because I had to spend so much giving so many dollars to Delta Airlines because that's what it took 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I am the possessor of 2.7 million frequent flyer miles. They call me by name. So, artificial intelligence is the foundation of a new beginning. It allows you, for anyone, and by that I mean you, anyone who makes the determination that I'm willing to change as things change. If you aren't willing to change, then the opportunity still is there, but it's very much decreased. And that is what you're all subscribing to, because everyone here, you're here because your ambition is not to make a little bit of money. You don't try